Hey everybody, it's Christopher Small from CMS Law Firm, and today I wanted to talk about something that comes up all the time, and that is how to choose a guardian if you can't, for your kids, if you can't agree with your spouse. And before we get there, by the way, if you want to learn more about this and about estate planning in general and sort of what goes into a basic estate plan, including whether or not you need a trust, then you can go check out estateplanningvideo.com. It's a short little sort of informational video that I put together. It's free. You can just go check it out and it'll answer a lot of your questions. And I think give you a lot of helpful information about sort of what goes into estate planning and what it really is, because there's more than meets the eye. All right. But in any event, guardians for your kids when you can't agree. Thankfully, my wife and I are pretty much in agreement about who's going to take care of our kids. But I have many friends and have many clients that come in and tell me that either they haven't done anything when it comes to estate planning, or they've been holding out for a long time because they can't agree on who should be the guardians. And to give you an idea, when we're talking about guardians, we're talking about who sort of takes care of your kids if you and your spouse both die. Okay, so who steps into that role as parents? Who takes care of them? Who sort of provides that parental, who fills that parental void if something happens to both of you? And so it's a big decision, right? It's one of the reasons that a lot of people do estate planning in the first place. But again, it's also one of the things that holds people back because they can't agree. One spouse wants to be their parents and definitely doesn't want it to be the other spouse's parents. One spouse wants it to be their brother or sister and definitely doesn't want it to be the other spouse's parents, right? And so this can cause some sort of internal conflict, some strife, and a lot of couples, instead of sort of addressing the situation and talking about it and figuring it out, they just ignore it and avoid it. And that can be really have huge consequences. If something actually does happen to both of you, a judge is going to ultimately make that decision if you don't make it yourself, and they are just going to have to go on what's in front of them. And I always say, we all know those people in our family that look really good on paper, but that we would never, ever want to raise our kids. Imagine that's what a judge is going to be looking at. So when it comes to choosing guardians, if you can't agree, there's a pretty straightforward exercise that I like to do that at least I think helps promote the conversation and push the conversation forward. So hopefully you can get to someone. And I also say, as you sort of embark on this process, as you begin this process and try to actually come to an agreement between the two of you, remember that often your B choice, like your second choice or even your third choice when you're sort of agreeing or coming to a compromise with your spouse, is better most times than a judge picking. Because if a judge has to pick, you've lost all control, you've lost all oversight, and you're really just rolling the dice on who is going to raise your kids. And that is something that I would never want to do with my own kids. So I would find a way to come to an agreement with my wife, and I'm going to give you some ideas here right now to help you sort of move that conversation along and hopefully get to a place where maybe it's someone that you guys are both just okay with, but can both agree to putting in that position for the time being. So if something ever happens, there's someone there to sort of take care of them. All right, so first things first. What I tell everybody to do is make a list of all the people you do not want to be your guardian, okay? These are absolute no's. You are not allowed, however, to Dale, what's up? You are not allowed, if you can hear me, by the way, Dale, say hello, say hi, say hey. You are not allowed, when you are making this list, to write down the people that you know your spouse wants to be the guardian just because you don't want them to be the guardian. Okay, these are when you're thinking about who goes on this no list, you really want to come up with people that have beliefs related to religion or politics or money or education or parenting that are sort of in opposition to you. So people that you actually would not want to raise your kids. Okay, make that list. That's step one. Both of you make that list. That's going to be the sort of the no-fly zone list. Hopefully not everybody's just on that list for both of you. Okay, if that happens, then you're going to have to just scratch those lists and move on and do this other stuff. Because what we're going to do next will probably take some people off of that list, off of that no list, and put them on the yes list, potentially. So the second thing that we're going to do is we are going to make a list of all the things that are important to you, all the values that are important to you, and you're going to put them in order. So the number one value for you is going to be the most important value for you, right? So again, this can be religion, politics, education, parenting style, can be money, philosophy, can be whatever is important to you. Just make a list of all those things and then put them in the order that's most important to least important. And then your spouse, you're going to do the same thing, okay? Now, you're going to make a list of all the people that could be potential guardians, probably like a list of like 5, okay? A short list. And then you're going to rate them on how they stack up against your top, 2 or 3 values that you've written down, okay? And then your spouse is going to do the same thing. And then you guys are going to share those lists and put them together. And basically, what I would suggest that you do, at least for now, is when you come to a person that is the same, that's the person for now, okay? The reason I say for now is because you can always revisit this list, you can always revisit this process, you can always change your mind, and you can always change who your guardian is going to be after you make it, okay? It's not something that's set in stone, it's something that can be updated very easily. Your guardian designations go in your will, and so to update your will, maybe like $100, maybe $150, depending on who you're working with. And by the way, if you want to know more about what a will can do, what a power of attorney can do, what a medical power of attorney can do, please go to estateplanningvideo.com and check it out, okay? I put together a little presentation there. Just all information, all helpful information. I guarantee you'll walk away from watching that video, having an idea exactly of what an estate plan looks like, and probably having a good idea of what your estate plan is going to look like. All right, so one more time, estateplanningvideo.com. All right, so once you get to this list, once you have these names, you get the person that you want, the next thing you have to do is just go make your plan, all right? And like I said, the idea here, the important thing to remember is that if you don't designate someone in your will to be the guardian for your children, if something happens to you and your spouse, then a judge is going to pick. And I wouldn't want to leave that decision up to some stranger, and I'm sure you wouldn't either. So really just take this seriously, take the time to do it. It's important. It's not urgent, so you're gonna have to do it, and you're gonna have to come up with your own time, okay? So that's it. One more time to end. If you want sort of the whole spiel on estate planning, if you want like a good overview, a good foundation, go to estateplanningvideo.com and check it out. If you like this video, hit the like button. If you have a comment or a question, please leave it. If you know someone that could use this information, please hit the share button and share it with them. All right, that is it. Thanks a lot, and I'll talk to you again soon. Bye.